Jake is super articulate. He's taking this one. Go ahead, Jake.
It's very simply put, it's a horror / satire about the art world and about the art being kind of usurped by the financial world and greed. And it's one of those sort of true to life, absolutely not true to life type of Dan Gilroy movies. And it really truly is a horror film / thriller / satire. A parable from modern times.
Perfectly said.
Nailed
Whoa,
it.
nailed it. Nailed it.
What else you got for me?
I know what I'm doing.
And you guys can confirm those details are correct, right?
I haven't seen it, so
No, I haven't seen it either. So Dan went to a museum upstate New York, Dia, and he came home and he said, I've got a great idea for a thriller set in the contemporary art world. And Dia, if you go down, they have a weird-ass installation down below with like mice running around. And it's a little bit of a freaky place. It's got a weird spirit. It used to be an old mill. And I just thought, that's great. Are you going to write me a part or not? So anyway, so that's sort of, what is that, a couple years ago maybe?
Right. Can I say something?
Yes.
This is an odd interview style. The reason why is because I'd really like to see Renee's face.
I love
All
you.
I'm looking at is the back of her hair and her
I
head.
love you so
And
much.
it's like, and if I talk, see, this is
I'm looking at you, I love you so
I
much.
just
This is
find
better.
this interview style odd because you have 6 actors in a room, all of whom are trying to fight in the right angle. And like, when you
I've given up.
At
this age, you just give
know what I
up.
mean? It's like if I turn this way, my hair looks super weird, like just in profile. You know what I mean? All the
You're
actors
getting
are
the
trying to be
best
like,
interview.
he's so funny.
You're getting the best. You're getting the best of us.
So funny.
I didn't read the full script when I first read it. I had a set of 4 or 5 pages of scenes from the film to do a self-tape, which actors love, right, guys? Because you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to try and get the role that I would really love to get and that I dream of doing. And so I read the pages, and even though they were disconnected and they didn't necessarily fit, I had a very visceral experience, and I could just feel something naughty and strange and genuinely odd was going on, even in a short space of
Now I
time.
have a question for the actors on the couch. Did it feel weird to listen to her? Wow. You had to stand forward.
I was trying to look back through
I
the back
just
of my
want
head.
to,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like we want to listen as always, and did it feel weird? Because it was weird watching you guys not listen.
Can I say one thing? I know that these people
In the middle of talking, I looked at Renee like I was going to get your eyes,
I know
and
these-
actually it doesn't look like I was giving you shade. Like,
I want to say something about Jake. That's what a good actor he is, because he needs to, seriously. No, I want to tell you something. When I'm working with him, he is like so zeroed in on you that I find that I'm watching the movie and then I lose my place completely. I'm like, oh, it's my line. So that's what he likes. I get it. Like
Can
I'm
you
used.
describe her facial expressions?
See? Okay, I'm done. I know other people have to talk. Sorry.
I thought Dan brought up a really cool thing yesterday, that playing with the idea that any art has soul. It has actually the artist's soul in it, and it's a living, breathing thing, and it affects people around you. So I think that I believe that, and it's true. Like music, film,
Right.
art, it has life, and it really affects a room and changes it. And I think Dan took it to the nth degree. You know.
When I read the script for the first time, what I realized was the star of this movie is Dan.
yeah.
You know
I
what,
think
he's
that
right.
That's right.
he has been so profoundly generous with the actors that he's worked with in his previous films. He loves his actors so much, and when you work with him, you feel that. He loves the original ideas that come from us, even if they're totally odd, and he supports them. Sometimes, obviously, steering us in a direction that feels maybe potentially to him or not in service of the story away from those ideas, but very rarely has that happened. And I think he made a decision, and he would maybe never say so himself, but I'll say it for him. You know, when I read it, I went, oh, it's time for you to shine here. Like, this is your movie. This is, you know, everything down with him and Robert Elswit, who shot the movie. I think it was designed very clearly by Dan in the script. You could read that very clearly in it. And I think really, truly the star of the movie is Dan. And I think we were all here to service, you know, that vision because we love his movies. And really, the script is just, my God, the script is just sick. It was just sick.
Sick.
I remember Dan sending because he doesn't send anything via the internet, and he sent it in a package And he said he was sending it to me, and the day before, Renee, Renee, I don't know if you're listening.
I'm totally, I was going to go like that, but I
okay.
thought I have snot in my nose
That
or
was
something.
right.
Go on. Go ahead.
That's a new way of talking. But I remember reading it and then having to sort of halfway through go outside and finish the rest of it. I remember finishing it on a bench on looking over the Hudson River and closing it and being so creeped out, terrified by what happened, and called him and said, immediately I'm in. And I hesitated saying, what am I up for? Like, what have I just put myself up for?
At the moment, I only work with Jake. So literally, we're rehearsing a play together right now, and so I feel like I think, he's the only person that I ever will work with.
That's the most annoying thing.
That's
about
the most
working
annoying
with Jake.
thing. She's just consistently present. You just turn around and he's there. But I do think another important thing to say about this film and reading that script is it was completely bonkers.
So bonkers.
It was insane when I read it, and one of the profound thoughts I had was, people do not make films like this anymore, and who the hell is going to make this film?
Yeah.
And I think that's an incredibly brave act by Netflix. I mean, they are the people who are putting this work out there, because I had read nothing like it, and I felt like I was inside a man's disturbed mind. And that man is Dan Gilroy, and he is a genius. But it was really exciting to see a script that reflected the way an individual thought, rather than to try and prescribe to a bunch of people who might watch it.
I just want to say that, like,
Always one.
when everyone's like, it was fucking bonkers, and I was like, that was weird.
But was
That
it?
my experience of it. It was deeply moved, and I was weeping at the end of it.